Tyler Lockett signs a new deal with the Seattle Seahawks, ensuring he will end his career in Seattle and saving the Seahawks some cap space. Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show. I'm your host, Mikey, and today we are here to talk about Seattle Seahawks signing a new deal with Tyler Lockett for 2 years, $30 million. So we don't know all the details about this yet. What we do know is there is incentives in this deal that can bring this up to 34 million in total. We know that this year there will be $13 million guaranteed. Now this is quite a big change in contract, we think, because Tyler Lockett was set to be the highest paid player on the team in 2024. He was set to make 26,895,000 was going to be his cap number. Now we do not know the exact details of how this contract is working out, but we know it's $30 million in total, and that it's $13 million guaranteed this year. So what we are still waiting to find out is this like entirely a brand new deal? Because if so, then yes, that means he is cutting his pay in half to stay with the Seahawks. That's really taking a home discount to stay in Seattle because he wants to end his career in Seattle, and he's already he makes his home here. He has his real estate business here already. He probably doesn't want to leave, and if that's truly how this is working out and he's cutting his pay in half, it was worth it for him to stay here. I mean, I think he knew at the cap number he was going to be at, he was either going to have to restructure the deal to stay in Seattle, or this option where it seems like they ripped that contract completely up and signed a new contract, or the other option was he was either going to be cut or traded to another team. I think he wanted to ensure that he would stay in Seattle, so he signs this new 2-year deal, $30 million, $13 million guaranteed this year. Again, if that's truly cutting his cap in half, or his cap number in half, then we are talking about saving $13 million in cap space, adding another 13 million. Remember, at this point, the Seahawks had already gotten themselves up to 42 million. We were, for all the fans that were all nervous just a week ago, when we, were $5 million over the cap, which again, I have been saying all along, that is nothing, especially with the way that the Seahawks structure their deals. A couple of days after that, they got themselves up to $42 million. Now, if we are to assume that he is, because they do know that 13 million is guaranteed this year out of the 30 million. So we're thinking that 13 million, he's taking that this year, and that's going to be his cap hit. That's so again, they're cutting it in half, and the Seahawks will gain $13 million in cap space, putting them at $55 million in cap space, and then that would put them seventh overall with the seventh most amount of cap space available to them heading into free agency. Again, the legal tampering period begins on Monday, so my goodness, I like I said in the last kind of update where when we talked about deals here with um, you know, Adams, Diggs, Monet all being cut. I said I didn't think things were done, and I had Tyler Lockett in mind, and I was unsure myself which way are they going to go with it. Are they just going to straight up cut him? Are they going to trade him, or are they going to restructure? I did not think that they would be signing a brand new deal. That was not something that came to my mind. But again, that's what makes this front office so good, because they are thinking of the things that we aren't, and getting those kinds of deals done and structuring these deals so that they're never really in a bad place. They're not the Saints, or like the Cowboys every year, where they just get themselves into like ridiculous situations, right? So, or they're not the Broncos of this year, and willing to take an $85 million dead cap, and then now you see how the Broncos are now, cutting star players and trading star players left and right over the last couple of days since cutting Russell Wilson, because they just can't afford to keep good players now. The Seahawks, they don't put themselves in those type of situations with the deals they sign, with the way they structure the deals. Beautiful stuff. And when you got a good guy like Tyler Lockett, that you want to have on your roster, but you just can't give him the deal he has. You get lucky that that kind of player loves your city, loves your culture, and wants to make it his home and have his business here, and is willing to take a pay cut to stay. So we are very lucky in that regard, because Tyler Lockett, did he not reach 1,000 yards for like the first time last year? Yeah, sure, but he still wasn't that far off, and he's still a really good player. Now this ensures that we will have him around still next year. I'm expecting DK to stay here. I don't expect him to go anywhere. This is not the Mike Sock show, where it's fun to speculate on what you might be able to get in trade offer. But with what DK gives you and what the offense is that is coming in, you wouldn't really want to trade him. I mean, the only way it'd be worth it, like I said in a previous episode when we talked about that scenario that Mike Sock brought up, you'd only want to do it if you were getting a high, pick in the first round, and that was probably going to be unlikely. But yeah, now that they've freed up so much cap space, again, having DK and the contract that he's on, it doesn't look bad. And so now you can have Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, JSN still there as your weapons, keeping that group together, and that is, again, I think going to be, an amazing combo, especially with a new coordinator this year, who I think is going to do a much better job of actually utilizing the weapons in the way he should and putting them in the best position to be successful. I think they're going to have a really good year. So we're looking at, again, like I said, potentially, once we get the details, $55 million in cap space. This will also includes Dwayne Eskridge, D. Eskridge, his contract getting renegotiated as well, or restructured. He went from like 1.5 million this year to 1.05 million. So we saved like 400 something million, or 400 something thousand with Eskridge as well. That was a move that surprised me because I think we could have saved about 1 million in total if we just cut him. And this going into year 4 for him, I sure would have liked to say, okay, let's move on from this, and go and get something else. But it looks like they want to keep him around and still potentially try to figure out if they can use him as a receiver. Still, maybe they'll potentially use him in kick returns and punt returns this year as well. We'll see how it goes. But moves like we've seen should really make you believe John Schneider when he says, no, there wasn't John guys and Pete guys. There was Seahawks, and we worked together to get these deals and to get these players. Because, everybody I've seen online that's been seeing all the moves that they like, they've been saying, oh, well, all those moves that were happening before that I don't like. Well, that was obviously a Pete Carroll guy, and now, those are the guys that they didn't like, and all these moves that they're making, they're like, oh yeah, those are John guys, those are John guys, and now all of a sudden I see everybody complaining about D. Eskridge, staying on the team, and what are you gonna say now? Yeah, you can't blame D. Eskridge on being a Pete guy now. Obviously, John did what he could to keep him on the team. So, like I said in one of the recent mock drafts, I do not expect the Seahawks, their philosophy, to really change all that much for the type of player they are targeting in drafts, and the type of team that they're trying to build. So I I don't expect any wild change, and it's just going to be just like it has been the last 14 years. We're going to see some really great picks that are going to work out, and we're going to see some really bad picks that don't work out. That's just the way it works. It has nothing to do with a player being one person's guy versus the other person's guy. It's just that's just the way it works. But yeah, so a couple of changes in receiver contracts today with Eskridge and Lockett, saving a ton of cap space potentially. Again, if this changes and we get, or when this, the details come out and we know the exact details of the contract and exactly how much cap space they're saving this year, we'll let you know for sure. But right now, we were already in 11th place, just barely out of 10th place. We will be moving into the top 10 of cap space this year now, and that's going to give us a ton of money to work with and cap space to work with to go sign Leonard Williams, which they've already said is a priority. They want to keep him on the team. They spent that second round pick, and John Schneider talked about how much he likes him and wants to keep him on the team. So there's money for that. If you're somebody who wants to keep Jordan Brooks, there's money for that now. And if we want to go get another linebacker in free agency to bring here, money for that. They're doing a great job so far in free agency, and then hopefully they can keep it up when they actually start signing players to the team. Hopefully they're gonna hit on the choices they make. All right, so there you go. There's your big news, and yeah, let's see. That's I don't got any more for you. That's going to be the episode for today. Put it in the comments. I want to know how excited you were when you heard that Tyler Lockett signed a new deal with the Seahawks, and that at this point, with the way his deal is structured and his age and the amount of years he's said he wanted to play, he's already exceeded that. So to me, it looks like Seahawks or Tyler Lockett will retire a Seahawk. At the end of his career, and that is going to be an amazing thing. That's a tough thing to do in any sport, is to stay with one team your entire career. That alone is an accomplishment, and that's what it's looking like. Tyler Lockett is going to do. So yeah, let me know how excited you are about the new deal. Let me know how excited you are for the amount of cap space we have now heading into free agency, starting being able to start negotiating on Monday. I expect a lot of big moves coming. I think they made all these big moves ahead of free agency because they know, like I said, when I said they cut Adams and Diggs was a questionable one to me. What it signified to me was that the other thing was that they went ahead and took on dead cap space this year. To me, again, it signified that they have players in mind they want to target. I expect them to be aggressive in that first couple of days of free agency. All right. Well, let's see. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, hit the like button, leave those comments. If you're listening on the podcast, please hit follow, hit subscribe, leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. Appreciate it all. And thanks for listening to the Seattle Sports Show, where we watch legends awaken. So take cover, because with a sea of sound, you will see us rise to reign supreme and win forever.